Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Special video today, why? Because we are playing against Sassuolo tonight. And yes, we are a Juventus dedicated channel, but we also have to look a bit further. And we have two players at Sassuolo that are linked in Mercato with Juventus. I'm speaking about Jeremie Boga and Manuel Locatelli. The big question I want to answer from my point of view is, are those players able to play at Juventus? Do Juventus need them for the season 2021? We start with Jeremie Boga, the name that is already linked since a few weeks to Juventus. Jeremie Boga is a player of 23 years old. We know he's playing at Sassuolo. The guy is a beast. He's playing really well, and this season he has an amazing season. He has a low value at the moment. If you really look at transfer market, it's quite low, but 16 million euro. It's not that much for sure. If Sassuolo wants to sell him, especially to Juve, they will ask more than the transfer market price. So we don't know yet what the price will be, but before speaking about that, let's go a bit more in detail about Jeremie Boga, a player that is playing actually in the same position as Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's my biggest doubt, and I will come back on that later. A player that is born in Marseille, he has double nationality, Ivorian and French nationality, a player that has already a big baggage of experience behind him. Why? Because he's coming from the youth of Chelsea, where he was given in loan to a lot of clubs like Rennes, Stade Rennais in France. Then he went to Granada in Spain. He played at Birmingham, and now he's playing at Sassuolo in Italy. So we can see that he did Premier League, Liga and Serie A. It's a lot, without talking about Ligue 1. So it's 4 different championships, the 4 biggest one for sure, except the Bundesliga. But the guy has, for 23 years old already, a lot of baggage. This season he played 81% of the games as a starter in the starting 11, and he played a total of also 81% of the minutes that were available. He did 25% of goal participation. For sure, he's an offensive player, and he scored 11 goals. 11 goals is a lot for a player who's playing on the wings. For sure, it's not Ronaldo with 28, but for a team as Sassuolo, where the offensive strikers are Berardi, Caputo, 11 goals is really good, and also he offered 4 assists in 31 appearances. So that's a bit for Jeremie Boga. What I wanted to say about him, his salary, or not salary, but his value is increasing more and more and more. So if Juventus want him at a reasonable price, I think it's this season or never, otherwise it will start to be really expensive. What is my doubt? What is my problem with Jeremie Boga? My problem is 23 years old is really the ideal age of booming with your career, especially in Serie A. 23 years old, you start to boom. If at 23 you go to Juventus, you can have your chance, but do you have your chance when you are playing at the same position as Ronaldo? That's a big problem for me. That's a big question mark. It would be really a pity to see a youngster who's really coming up, it's in the boom of his career, going in to be benched at Juventus, because we know Ronaldo doesn't want to play as a striker. He's not playing on the right. He wants his position there, and Ronaldo wants to play all the games from the first minute until the last minute. So Jeremie Boga, talent, yes. Amazing player, yes. Do I want him at Juventus? Yes, only if he's able to accept to be 1 year the sub of Ronaldo with limited playing time. And then we go to another player, Manuel Locatelli. Manuel Locatelli is another young player also him playing at Sassuolo, because we are in that topic of Sassuolo Juve. He's 22, so he's even 1 year younger as Boga. It doesn't look like 22 because we already heard his name so many times in Serie A. We are really familiar with him, so it looks like a player of 25, 26 because he already has a long career. He started at Atalanta with the youth team, where then he went to the youth team of Milan. Then he was loaned to Sassuolo. He came back and he went again to Sassuolo for 12 million euro. Now he's a real Sassuolo player, but the guy is good. He had some difficulties at Milan because a lot of expectations were put to him, especially after the goal versus Juve, a big goal, so people were waiting a lot from him, and he was a bit disappointed there at a young age. Was it his fault? Was it the fault of a Milan that was already declining? That's a big question, but now you really see at 22 that he took the leadership on the midfield of Sassuolo. He played 78% as a starter in 27 appearances, 73% of the minutes available. He didn't score this season, so it's a midfielder that didn't score, that is not used to score, but he did 4 assists. Yellow cards, 8. So that's a bit about Manuel Locatelli that I really love. It's a really good guy. A lot of people also in the chat told me, Giuseppe, I want Locatelli from Sassuolo for Juventus. I really want him. I like it. He's a player from 98, young, an Italian blue. That we know that Juventus need those Italian players again. But yeah, he has a value of also there 15.5 million on transfer market. Sassuolo, if they sell him, they will ask more for sure, but it's also the season to take him if Juventus really want him. Good player, but a lot of contradiction also. Juventus today with Arthur, with Bentancur for the future midfield and the players we have at our disposal is not a team that is scoring a lot of goals. We see that Locatelli is not used to score a lot of goals. So is that the midfield that we need as a starter? No, absolutely not. We know that Bentancur is already used to have a lot of yellow cards. Locatelli with 8 is also someone that receives a lot of yellow cards. For sure, in that zone of the field as a midfielder, it's quite difficult to be clean in yellow cards, but also him quite prone to have yellow cards, so that's also a thing. So what do I think about Manuel Locatelli? He should be a great player for Juventus as a B option. I believe it's a player that can easily be in the 25, but not as a starter. That's for sure something that we have to take into consideration. Today is not ready as a starter to be the new star of Juventus. I believe in young players. Arthur 23, Bentancur 23, but those players has already experience at clubs like Barcelona, as Juventus, so they are a bit more mature in that one. And also we are looking for someone who is a bit complementary to those players, and that's not the case today of Manuel Locatelli. So closing the video, my opinion about Jeremie Boga and Manuel Locatelli is great players, great youngster. I would love if Juventus is able to take them. Do we need them today? Unfortunately, not, for 2 reasons. Boga, who's playing the same position and style as Ronaldo, because he likes to go on the left and come back on the right to score. He loves to do that, but we have Ronaldo who's playing 90 minutes on 90, and then we have Manuel Locatelli, who is a really great prospect, but not as a starter. The negative note of today, but everything can change in the mercato, is that Carnevali, the sport director of Sassuolo, said we will not sell those players. We already did a favor to Juventus because we sold them the future best defender of the world, and they were speaking about Demiral, and we can agree with that, even if we already have De Ligt. But now they are a bit more cautious. They see that Sassuolo is playing a beautiful football, so maybe they will have a tactical strategy this year of keeping their youngster instead of selling them. Will they resist at the advances of Juventus? Will the player accept a B role instead of a star role as Sassuolo? Let's see, the future will tell us. Thank you, I hope you enjoyed that video. Put a like, subscribe, and see you later. See you tonight. Ciao, Forza Juve.